Whatever you want to do with the rest of your life, whether it be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, YouTuber, I'm a firm believer that how well you do in high school and how well you do on the SAT is going to be a major predictor on how successful you are going to be in that career. What's going on, guys? In today's video, it's going to be a little bit different from our usual topics on how to do well on the SAT and get a perfect score on the math section. But I want to share with you on something that I wish I had known back in high school. Like if I could go travel back in time, I would catch myself, slap him in the face, and I would give him this video. And if it's your first time here, my name's John. I've been an SAT math tutor for past 11 years, and my specialty is taking a student who's currently in 400, 600 range to a 700 plus on the math section by their next SAT. Anyways, as I said, I'm such a strong believer in the fact that how well you do on the SAT and how well you do in high school is going to be a major predictor of how successful you are going to be in your career. And now, I know that a lot of people are going to say, John, SAT is an exam of how good of a resource you have or how much money your parents have or how lucky you are when it comes to preparation. And as a quick disclaimer, I'm gonna tell you that I 110% agree with the fact that SAT is not an exam that measures how smart you are. You don't have to be smart to get a good score on the SAT. As long as you have a $100,000 per hour tutor, anybody can get a top 5% score on the SAT. Anyways, so why is it that doing well on SAT and GPA is going to be a good predictor? Well, here's why. See, when I was in high school, I always thought to myself, this is such a waste of time. I think it was in 10th grade or 11th grade. I was sitting in a pre-calc class and I was thinking to myself, why am I learning all these formulas and theories and theorems and these equations? What's the point of learning all these? Because back then I wanted to become a doctor. I thought to myself, knowing these formulas are not going to make me a better doctor. Like if somebody is lying on an operation table, knowing how to find an area of a triangle is not going to increase the likelihood of that person surviving. It's just not going to work. So that negative thought of I'm wasting my time kind of spread throughout all the classes, whether it be literature, social studies, actually science. I think I did okay because I thought to myself, chemistry, you're probably going to need that for MCAT. So you actually want to study for this class. So I did okay in there. And same thing applied when I was studying for the SAT. How is this going to help me become a better doctor? Getting an 800 on the math section is not going to help when somebody's lying on an operation table. It's just not worth it. So it was always a constant battle of why am I doing this? Am I wasting my time? But at the same time, if I want to become a doctor, I have to do well in high school. But I don't want to study all these things. This is such a waste of my time. It's not going to get me to become a better doctor. It was just a vicious cycle. And fortunately, I did okay in high school, graduated, went to a decent college, graduated, and obviously had a change in career and started a tutoring business, got to a decent level. But looking back, I think this was back in 2018 when I had this thought. And this was the moment when everything kind of shifted, took a 180-degree turn and turned upside down. I no longer thought that high school was a waste of time and SAT was a waste of time. Instead, I thought to myself, thank God I went through high school and went through all that and studied for the SAT and got a good score. Without that, I wouldn't be here. Let me explain. See, when I was tutoring, the reason I changed from trying to become a doctor to a tutoring business was because that's what I was passionate in. That's something I loved. And how much I loved it was that after I graduated high school and I was a freshman in college, I was at the library past midnight working on these SAT questions to prepare for my next class. Not like a college class, but I had these tutoring sessions that I was hired for over the weekend. And throughout the week, I was just working on it, solving the exams, analyzing the questions, and just kind of getting it all ready so that students can just absorb it, take it on the exam, and do well on it. Can you imagine studying for the SAT even after you're done with it and you're already in college? It was pretty messed up, but I still did it because that's what I was passionate in. And I would think that because this is something I am passionate in, something I loved, no matter what I do, if it's about the SAT and tutoring, I'm going to love it 100% and I'm going to have zero trouble doing it. And that was farthest from the truth because there were so many aspects of tutoring that I hated. Even though it was about tutoring, something that I was really passionate about, I still hated doing it. However, I still had to do it because that was part of my business. That's when I realized even though the career that you had picked is going to be something that you love, there's always going to be an aspect of that job that you would hate. And when you face something you hate, you have two choices. You can either power through it or you can just give up. And in 2023, I'm still here because I have always chosen to power through whatever I did not want to do. And the question becomes, where did I get this ability to power through what I didn't want to do? It comes to high school and SAT. You see, I did not want to study for the SAT. I did not want to study for that AP biology class, but I still did it. And what was happening throughout those 4 years was that I was strengthening my ability to do what I did not want to do. I hated writing essays, but I still did them in high school. And as a result, my ability to do things that I did not want to do has gotten stronger. And the key point here is that whatever career you want to get into, you will always face difficulties. You're going to come across tasks that you do not want to do. And you could say, John, if it's something I really love doing, then no matter how hard it gets, I'm not going to give up. You see, I always thought that too. But what I can tell you for sure is that you will always come across this one task where your dislike about the task is going to outweigh on how much you like that career. And the moment that scale tips, you are going to give up because your perseverance is not strong enough. And why is it not strong enough? Because you gave up in high school and you took the easy route. So the key is for you to take the harder path of doing what you don't want to do. I thought it was a waste of time back in high school, studying for the SAT, maintaining a high GPA. Turns out that's what allowed me to get to where I am now. My ability to do things that I don't want to do and get a high SAT score gave me the perseverance and confidence to say, no matter what comes at me, I can get through it because I got through SAT. And that shit was pretty hard back in high school because I was in the library from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. all throughout summer, and I was still having a hard time raising my score. To be fair, I didn't know what I was doing, but I still got through it. I didn't give up. I persevered through. So if I can get through the SAT, I can get through anything. And that confidence goes a long way when it comes to your career and for the rest of your life. So next time you don't want to study for the SAT or maintain a high GPA, tell yourself, I'm not doing this because this is going to contribute to my career. I'm doing this because 4 years of high school is like a boot camp to strengthen a major ability, perseverance. If I give up now, I'm probably going to give up when things get hard in my career, which means I'm not going to reach my goals and I'm going to live a miserable life.